So, always a fun time, always fun. Everything seems to be, moving the way it needs to move, and, then boom, something happens, obviously, because, that's just life. Nothing too crazy. Somebody hit my car, and they tried to run. But, my boy and his family, the Avengers, he ended up catching them down the road. So, afterwards, I'm not going to go into the details of that because you don't really care. But I was told that, let me take that back, that his family told me how, yo, you were so calm. Like, that's crazy. You the calmest person on the planet. Because, like, if it was me and this and that, and yeah, I was calm. Because I was just like, once we caught the person and saw who the person was and stuff like that, I'm like, fam, I'm not even about to be going off and this and that. And I spoke to the person and I said, look, man, you're dead wrong for that. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. You're dead wrong. Like, you hit people's car, man. You pull over and you call it in. You made a mistake. You running made it worse now. So now you got to go to court and all that type of stuff because now it's classified as a hit and run. You shouldn't have done that. So, they were crying. They were crying and all that stuff and this and that. But, that's here nor there. I didn't go off on them. And, when we got back to their house, to my people's house, we just kind of chilled. And, yeah, I was still calm. But, my boy kept looking at me and he goes, nah, y'all just don't know. He angry. He chilling. He angry, though. And I'm like, nah, I'm cool. So it wasn't until this morning that I woke up, and I woke up frustrated. Because, while I was driving my car home last night, so obviously it wasn't like a major issue, but while I was driving my car home last night, it was doing a couple of things that it wasn't doing before that. So, it kind of frustrated me. So I went to sleep frustrated and woke up frustrated. So it didn't hit me until this morning that I was just like, you know what? He was right. I am angry. I'm frustrated. I don't even want to say angry because the old me anger looks completely different. And I don't particularly like to put that on me. But thinking of, the whole process and now with the insurance and having to get things looked at and having to wait and how they drag their feet and stuff. I've been frustrated for a few hours now. And I had to recognize that, you can be calm. But underlying, you can be mad as hell. You can be frustrated. You can be pissed. So I had to, I prayed and, I thanked the Lord that I didn't go off on this individual as a young person. That's why I'm not really putting their business out there as a young person. And, I didn't when they were like 21, 22. And I'm like, we've all been young and stupid. So I'm not about to cuss them out and all of this type of stuff for what? So, but at the same time, realizing that I am indeed frustrated because it's just like, geez, man, why? Like, I should have just went home. And, when all those thoughts start to come in, and it's like, it makes you get even more frustrated. So, after praying on it and talking to the Lord and, thanking him that I wasn't in the car and that the young person wasn't injured and, nobody got hurt and things along those lines, and thanking him for allowing me to exhibit the behavior that I did by remaining calm in the whole situation to the point where other people recognize it, because I'm not an example for me, I'm an example for the Lord. I'm big on, I'm a Christian, I'm a this, I'm a that, and all that type of stuff. I follow Christ, I believe in Father God, the Creator, and all of that type of stuff. And yeah, I'm not perfect. Yeah, I still got my issues with me and things like that. But just that alone made me proud, because that's not who I used to be. I would be angry, and you would see it all over my face, and I'd be ready to cuss a person out and all of that type of stuff. And it made me proud that I was able to exhibit that behavior as a representation for Christ. Stay calm and stuff like that. But at the same time, my boy was right. I was angry. And I was frustrated underneath my calm demeanor. So, we want to get to a place where it's like, yeah, we're human, and, those emotions are going to come about. But you don't want them to linger. Like, I definitely should have woke up this morning just like, all right, what's done is done. And instead of waking up still with a bad attitude and, laid up with who I'm laid up with, and, they recognizing it, they're making sure they're not not saying that they're walking on eggshells, but they're just kind of relaxing and stuff and don't want to really bother me, but they could tell. So, you want to get to a place where you can, things happen, that initial like, oh my gosh and stuff like that. But afterwards, it's just like, woosah, let it go, let it go. It is what it is. It happened. It's done. I have all my fingers. I'm still moving. I'm granted with another, day, blessed with another day of life. And, nobody was hurt. You got to let things like that go, because, it's just, it could have been much worse. And glory be to God that it wasn't, So these are the things that you want to work on as a person. There's nothing wrong with feeling away and stuff like that. But again, I truly believe that it shouldn't last longer than a moment, and that's in the best case scenario. So anyway, just wanted to drop that down. Haven't spoken to anybody. I haven't done a video. I haven't spoken to anybody in a while. Just haven't felt the need to. So I felt the need to just drop that, and, hope everybody's good, and, God bless, be safe, and, just take life as it comes. And I know you're going to get thrown curveballs, and I know things are going to happen that's going to royally piss you off, but, take it for what it is. As long as you're able to walk away from the situation and keep moving, you're truly blessed, okay? All right? Have a good one.